Let's talk about finding your truth. What the fuck does that even mean? What finding your truth is finding the path of least resistance, finding the path of your highest excitement, and then following that, not operating from the mind, but operating from your soul, because your mind is conditioned. We have been programmed since birth to betray ourselves, to betray our truth, to fit into some sort of role, on some level, some sort of role, some sort of cultural ideal, some sort of expectation of what we are told we should be, or how we should act, or what we should go after, or what our lives should look or feel like. When in actuality, the deepest sense of fulfillment, of peace, and of abundance is when you actually come into alignment with what your truth is. And only you can know that. What you're seeking, no matter what it is, it's not gonna come from shoulds. It's not gonna come from trying to make something work that isn't meant to work at this moment. Everything you desire, and I think this is one of the deeper meanings of seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and then everything else will be added to you. Of course, there's a deeply esoteric spiritual truth to that, but just in a more practical 3D sense, first seek the kingdom, seek the alignment, and then from there, everything else will fall into place. Because then everything you're doing is coming from flow. Everything you're doing is coming from aligning to the current of evolution, the current of life that is moving through you. Otherwise, everything you do is off kilter. Everything you do is going to be slightly out of alignment. The biggest key is to find what this is for you first, and then act from that place, then act accordingly. For me, how this manifests is it feels like relief in my body. It feels like when I speak out, if I'm discerning between should I do this or that or the other thing, part of me always knows. A part of you already knows what the truth is, already knows what the alignment is. Now this could be a truth in a relationship. It could be a truth in your path, like the work you're doing, the direction you're heading. It could be a truth in just the phase of your life you're in, where you're living, the type of people you're hanging out with. But for me, when I come into it, when I speak this truth out with someone, to just hold the space to me and just allow me to speak it, immediately I'll feel a relief when I speak that truth of, if I'm just gonna express unfiltered, if you were to just express unfiltered, what are you feeling? What do I feel is not in alignment? And what do I feel is? Like, what is the move for me? Whenever I speak that out, immediately I'll feel a relief and I'll feel an excitement that comes from my heart. That is your compass. Anything else after that doesn't matter. Any other stories that come up in the mind doesn't matter, because the mind is going to tell you every reason why you can't, every reason why you have to do X, Y, Z first, every reason why you have to go in this direction first. And I'm inviting you to cut all that shit out, because remember, it's conditioned, and go straight to the end. You don't need to use a means to get to the end. Just go to the end first. What is the thing? Cut everything else out. This is the sword of destiny, the sword of truth. This is the practice of the sword of truth. It's a practice I use with myself and I use with my clients. What is the sword of truth? What needs to be cut away? What needs to be severed from? What are the fears that tell you you can't do that thing? Trust in the feeling of relief in your body. And then from there, you'll feel a sense of power. Once it's expressed, you'll feel oh wow, okay, yes, that's it. And boom, all this clarity will come to you, this sense of empowerment. Then you'll know all of your energy could be directed and everything else could be released. All of your energy could be directed into that thing. And that is the energy that will allow you to overcome the fear. You want to anchor in that knowing and that clarity, and then act from that place, because the voice of doubt, all the other things, the questioning, that's going to happen. That's just a natural mechanism of the mind. But what I'm giving you here is a practice of discernment, that what is the foundation that you are making your decisions upon? We have to ensure that that's based upon truth. Otherwise, you're building a house on sand. Build your house on the rock of truth, the rock of divinity, the intelligence that is flowing through you. It's not supposed to be hard in the sense of suffering. Your life is not supposed to feel like suffering. Even healing trauma and feeling intense emotions, there's a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is a byproduct of life. Pain is a byproduct of being human. Pain is a valid capacity on the spectrum of the emotional spectrum. But if you actually, for example, do trauma work and feel your pain, it doesn't actually feel like suffering. There can actually be a sense of liberation in it because it's truth. It's just the truth of your heart and you're feeling it. And that's gonna ultimately feel liberating. It's ultimately gonna feel like freedom. And so if you're feeling suffering in your life, meaning like this endless internal battle, this endless mental ping pong match, this endless just feeling of being torn, that's suffering. That's not innate to the human experience, meaning that the flow of intelligence, the energy that you come from, that is beating your heart, that is growing your fingernails, that is ultimately your soul, that is animating this body that will continue after this body dies, that energy is meant to be in flow. That energy is meant to be in this continuous current of evolution. It is always unfolding. It never stops. Man has no place to lay his head, Jesus says. What he means by that is we're always evolving. There's no place to lay your head because what you are is always becoming. And when you block that becoming out of attachment and fear and clinging to the past, clinging to what your conditioned personality thinks it should be, that's when you cut yourself off from the flow of life and the flow of intelligence, and it'll create a sense of suffering. This is the biggest thing that I work with all of my clients in, that I work with myself in, because without this, your entire life, that suffering will start to seep into everything. But the good news is, you're always closer to alignment than you think. It just feels huge. It's like being at the slip and slide, like, I don't know if you guys know what Splish Splash is, but being at like a water park and like cliff diver, there's this huge like 80-foot drop, right? And before you go down the slide, you're gonna be so scared, but the second you move through that resistance and actually surrender into the experience of alignment, joy, bliss, it all flows into expansion. So my question for you to feel into is, where are you lying to yourself? Where are you pretending not to know the answer? Because it will require you to maybe make some big shifts in your life. What are you constantly going back and forth over, contemplating? Should I do this? Should I not do this? When you're in that energy, that's how you know you're out of alignment. It's boom. We have a connection to source. We have a connection to your higher self, to an intelligence. And when you're connected to it, it feels clear, direct, boom. When you're not in that space, you know, okay, I'm betraying myself in some way. My mind is hijacking me. What is it? For me this year, I let go of a romantic relationship that was completely out of alignment. I'm letting go of this home that I have in Austin because it's not where I'm supposed to be yet. Love this place, but I know I'm not supposed to be here right now. And I knew that from the moment I landed, but I tried to make it be something other than what it is. Tried to make my truth into something other than what it is. You cannot change what is. We can only surrender to it. And you want to surrender to your truth because it'll always take you to the highest timeline, to the most expansive places. That is your inner compass. It's your soul's guidance. And so what is that initial gut reaction that you're avoiding, that you're trying to turn into something else? These are the questions to ask yourself. And if you're seeking support on this, I invite you to drop a comment, to send me a message, because what's right for you, what's truly right, is right for everyone. It's the greater symphony, the greater harmony of existence trying to move through you so that you can play the role that you are meant to play in the greater divine tapestry of existence here. So that's what I got for you guys today. I love you all. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.